name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Hey, we did it! That was so perfect. Anyway, tonight, folks, we are gathered here to discuss who has going to try and achieve destiny, to seek victory, and who we believe is truly bound for glory. Welcome to Simply Predicting. Welcome to the discussion. Let's freaking go. And yes, I will be there live. Hello, everybody, and welcome once again back to Simply Predicting, courtesy of the Simply Reliable Studios. You know what this is. I am the Superman Noah Foster, with his eyes, the Rage of Wrestling Walter Cruz, and welcome back one of my fellow horsemen of predictions, out of Jeff Chadwick and Mark Griffith. Good to have you back, my brother. Christopher Rotz, and thank you for those that are tuning in, whether live or on demand. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Know there will be TNA Impact spoilers. And again, your predictions matter too. Let us know your thoughts on the matches we discuss in the comments. Of course, we'll put them up as we discuss them. If you want to dictate the conversation, there are PayPal links in the description or super chats, as simple as that. And stay tuned for a forum following these streams on all my social medias and all the stream comments too, so you can be part of the TNA Predictions League as well. And Daniel, good to see you. So before we get into things, first off, let's see how the panel feels. And there might be someone else joining us later. Who knows? And shout out to those that couldn't be here, but I know want to be part of the fun, including at Limited 2, good old Jam, Jeff Meachman, of course, Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. Don't rush yourself, bro. If you can't be here, rest and take care as always. Walter, good to see you. I know that you and James are going to have a heck of a Saturday ahead for you, because you guys are bound to call this in your own glory, because I won't be with you. I will be at the show live. But how you feeling about Bound for Glory as we get ready to simply predict it tonight?
I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Obviously, I'm already in the mood there. It's spoiling my...
Don't say his name too many times now. We're not trying to overkill a gimmick like WWE. Continue.
Exactly. But yeah, they got a hell of a lineup in the card, so we got to get into it, because there's a lot of matches.
Yeah, no kidding. Chris, good to see you. It's good to have you back on Simply Predicting again, my friend. First time that you're part of our rebranding here on the Simply Reliable Studios. How you feel about TNA Bound for Glory?
I'm feeling good about this show. Give it about a solid 8 out of 10. Unfortunately, I won't be able to watch TNA Bound for Glory on Saturday. I'll be going to a haunted house thing with my work buddies. But I'll catch the highlights on YouTube probably the next day. Good luck to everybody that's in the prediction league for TNA. And say yeah to NoDQ.com.
Yeah, Aaron Rip approved. Go check out Aaron Rip and his crew, and they, I believe, predicted Halloween Havoc and Crown Jewel, and it is what it was that. I think he did that 1 week in advance, because 1 week from today, of course, is Halloween, which is very prideful and deep, of course, in the Riff family. So Aaron Riff, Caitlin Riff, I hope that you all have fun with that too. But yeah, I'm definitely super excited. It's not just the fact that I'm going live. I haven't gone to the Impact Zone since Summerverse 2021, where I saw the Alvarado versus Surprise, La Mera, Thunder Rosa, not to mention my first ever Ultimate X, not to mention the arrival of the Switchblade, Jay White at the end after Kenny Omega and Sami Callihan went through hell over the Impact World Championship. But now this Saturday, we got a triple main event and so much more too. So without further ado, gentlemen and Simply Predicting community, let's get right into it. It is the biggest show of TNA's calendar year. It is TNA Bound for Glory, coming to us from Motor City, Detroit, Michigan, at the Wayne State University Fieldhouse. And of course, the Simply Studios will have you covered here with coverage courtesy of James Hebert and Walter Cruz. It starts officially with the countdown 6:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the actual show starts, folks, at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on Triller TV and TNA Plus subscribers that buy it separately. It's not part of a subscription unless you buy that annual pay-per-view subscription with Big Four. So please, support TNA Wrestling if you haven't already, and enjoy what could be the most, I would say, newsworthy show this year for TNA Wrestling. We, of course, have our countdown, and we'll start off by, of course, honoring the founder of TNA, Bob Ryder, and also fellow TNA Hall of Famer now, longtime contributor to TNA Wrestling, Rhino. They are this year's TNA Hall of Fame inductees. So on behalf of Simply Reliable Studios, I just want to say congratulations to both. Absolutely deserve. And thank you, Bob Ryder, for providing the idea and helping bring forward the alternative, the true alternative to the professional wrestling industry that stands now here 22 years strong, back to its original roots, the letters TNA, where truly we have seen nothing but total nonstop action in the highest, most pleasurable degree. That being said, J.J. Williams apparently, well, to you almost, you must have forgot, botch. So let me go ahead and give that to him. It looks like the Renegade will be joining us, and I will say his name here when he joins us, folks. I knew someone else was going to join us. But of course, we now will get into the actual wrestling action. And thank you, Emmanuel, for that. Whether or not you're able to come in again, I appreciate you. Appreciate the Dominguez as always. Let's go ahead and talk about our first match, shall we? And I'm going to freaking rant, but I'm also going to try and hold my decorum while I'm there to not try and yell the concierge to burn in hell. But we actually have a team by elegance now in TNA Wrestling after the freaking party by elegance was crashed, thankfully, by Zaya Brookside and Brindley Reese. It's women's knockouts, NXT tag team action on the countdown to Bound for Glory. Ash and Heather by elegance, taking on Zaya Brookside and Brindley Reese of NXT. So, simply put, Heather Reckless, of course, formerly Heather Reckless, now Heather by elegance, first came in, newly signed TNA Knockout, and one of her first matches was, of course, with Zaya Brookside, a former rival of Ash by elegance. And, of course, Heather got the win against Zaya thanks to Ash's stupid, annoying existence and interference. Damn it. Meanwhile, while the liaison of NXT, Ariana Gray, has been providing, of course, access for NXT to cross the line, we have seen Brindley also get a makeover courtesy of Ash by elegance. But of course, that was interrupted, thankfully, by Zaya Brookside. Things really escalated tonight when we had a party by elegance, and thankfully, Zaya and Brindley gave these two a makeover that was worthy of TNA TV. So now we have this tag team match where we will see if a team by elegance can beat a team of NXT NA. I truly hope that Zaya and Brindley soar. All right, you guys know that I am never, ever going to pick freaking blank by elegance for any damn shit. So I don't care if I lose a point here. I really hope that, again, TNA loves surprises, also unpredictable. I'm hoping that Cyan Brindley for NXT and A, if nothing else, an NXT superstar winning on a TNA pay-per-view. Ain't that some crazy nonsense, even on the countdown? I really hope that Cyan Brindley get the win here, but I fear the worst. Chris, what do you think about this?
What I think about this is I feel it's going to be a great match. It's hard to decide who I feel like is going to win this, but I'm just going to say I'm going to go with Ash and Heather by elegance to win on Saturday.
All right, fair enough. And that being said, Walter, again, I think you still were bloody shot when Ash by elegance beat Jessica Havoc back at Under Siege. That made people still call the worst TNA Knockouts match in history. But there is no arguing that the former Dana Brooke, now Ash by elegance, has found her character in TNA wrestling and arguably has had her greatest presentation to date with this redesign, where again, the knockouts allow you to find yourself, the premier women's division of the business. Although NXT right now is truly getting up there. What's your thoughts on this tag team match?
This might be the one match I really just over. But my heart wants Team Zaya and Brindley to win, but my brain says after what I saw, so I won't spoil it, but after what I saw tonight, I just think Ash and Heather are going to pull it out because it just seems like they're leaning to it. Like, why go through what they went through and not give them the victory? So, Dimeless and Nickeless, I guess, are going to have to win.
That's an insult to pocket change. That being said, this isn't an insult. This is always just a fun appreciation. Hey, the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams has joined us for City Predicting Out and About. JJ, what you got to say about TNA Bound for Glory? And if you want to give any thoughts towards this, or if you want to roast Ash or the new team by elegance, please feel free to. Good to see you.
Good to be seen. I apologize for any background noise. I'm sitting out in front of the local Walmart awaiting my ride. home for work.
Gotcha.
As much as I want Zaya Brookside and Brindley Reese, who I know who Brindley Reese is, I'm pretty sure the rest of the panel is familiar with Brindley Reese. Little slight haha to one of the people in the chat room who didn't know who Brindley Reese is, but we still love her though. I gotta go with Ash and Heather by Elegance. As much as I don't want to, correct me if I'm wrong, Noah, this is Heather's first match since the makeover.
Correct.
So why go through the makeover just to job her out?
Damn it. I hate it
I,
when
I hate it. I hate it because I love Zaya. I was a fan of Zaya when I first saw her. Brindley is obviously my NXT. So I want to support her. But Heather just had this makeover.
Yeah. Fair.
That's exactly what my point was. I just didn't want to say makeover because I didn't want to spoil what happened tonight.
Well, this is City Predicting, and if people don't know by now what we do, again, let me remind you, City Predicting might include spoilers for this week's wrestling content, too, because it feeds into the friggin' pay-per-view, and we literally just got the go-home, very good go-home tonight as well. And again, shout out to everybody in the chat. He was referring to a certain individual that's always mighty, but right now she's getting over the flu, so again, take care, my friend, and power up again soon. And EBW, good to see you. Matt Helms, good to see you. And it's just one of those things, though, where also I think about when it comes to this team by Elegance, I think it'd be funny for them to have a miscommunication. Why, you're right, the makeover happened tonight, but is she fully transcended to Elegance? I think she's still going to be as klutzy as Ash first was when she came into TNA. And so help me, if I see one of them do the Cabbage Patch, I'm going to walk out of the damn building. So I really hope that there's some sort of weird miscommunication. Maybe the concierge gets wet. That'd be the best thing that could happen to me while I'm there. And I'm going to still be the odd one out. Budget. I'm still going with NXTNA. I'm going with Brindley Reese and Zaya Brookside for the win. Yes, JJ?
We just need an audio clip of King A-Train going, "Timeless."
King, if you're watching as a stalker, you know what to do. All right? I'm just saying. All right. Well, that was pretty short, sweet, and simple. Let's go ahead and move on into our next match on the countdown. And before I do, JJ, do you have anything to say regarding Bob Ryder and Rhino going into the TNA Hall of Fame? Bob Ryder being the founder, Rhino being a long-time TNA original, ECW original, etc., still a contributor.
Bob Ryder, I'm not honestly that familiar with. You know, more of a behind-the-scenes backstage guy, so good on him. Clearly, he left a lasting imprint on the TNA brand. Rhino, long overdue. You know, not a TNA original per se, but ever since, you know, the one night stand in 05 when he left WWE, he's been pretty much a TNA established name since then. He went back, had another minor run, but he's really kind of made his imprint, just like guys like New Jack, Jerry Lynn, Raven, RVD, the Dudleys, Team 3D, and other hardcore extreme icons did, Tommy Dreamer, Shane Douglas, etc. So good on Rhino. Former NWA champion under the TNA umbrella.
Yeah. NXTNA, for those that don't know, the genesis of what is now. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen brand crossover with TNA. It's truly been, like I said, the mecca of the wrestling industry. Originally, TNA was NWA TNA, which is what he was referring to back when they had leading as champion. Anyway,
which is what it says on my X Division title, NWA TNA.
That's when everything was on pay-per-view and they literally had women in cages dancing. I shit you not, people that didn't follow it all along. They had women in cages dancing.
It was a different time. It was a much more short-sighted audience, and I feel like there's still some of that today, but it's better than what it used to be when it comes to that perspective. All right, well, let's go ahead and see how JJ calls his shot in this, because this is going to be a fun conversation. Let's talk about the 6th annual tradition now, Bound for Glory. It's the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. This is a 20-person intergender battle royal that will turn into a one-on-one match at the end. And the winner will receive a TNA championship match for any title in this company, anytime, up to 1 year. In tonight's episode of TNA, we, of course, had a six-way to see who would get the number 1 spot and the number 20 spot. Included but not limited to names you could expect is not only those 6 individuals that were Sami Callihan, Laredo Kid, Jason Hotch. We also saw Flop Dollar. We also saw the self-proclaimed king of TNA, Frank Kazarian. And if you can't read the ticker, JJ, I'm sorry, Flop Dollar apparently pinned y'all's boy. He is number 20, and Kazarian is number 1. Anyway, we also know other names, not just men, but women can be involved in this as well. In the history of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, the winners have been included to Eddie Edwards, Rhino, Bully Ray, and of course, last year's winner, the only ever knockout to win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, Jordan Grace. You think about the TNA roster who's not involved in a match. We could get Alex Hammerstone. We could get more NXT crossover. We could see Jake something. We could see Cody Deaner. Again, you look at the TNA roster, it's a who's who that could come in here across the line to be a part of the gauntlet. Just saying, we had Sunny Kiss last year. So here's how we're going to do this as is tradition in my predictions league from TNA. You get 2 picks. So your primary is worth 2, your secondary is worth 1. Good luck. JJ, I'll start with you. Who do you think this year will call their shot?
Well, my number 1 pick comes as no surprise. I told you last night who it was going to be. Frankie, the future Kazarian, the king of TNA. That is my number 1 pick. As a longtime fan of Shawn Michaels, I can see him running the gauntlet.
Okay, coast to coast.
My second pick, I'm going to go on a limb here. I'm going to go for someone who's not announced, so I could be completely throwing away my pick here. My number 2 pick is going to be the ruler of NXT, Obafemi.
What? Okay. Well, wow. Good luck, TNA. Hammerstone already knows what that guy feels like, and Hammerstone got his ass kicked. Well, all right. So JJ has set the ballot to Frank Kazarian and Hammerstone, or excuse me, Obafemi. And Matt asking
and let me just say real quick, I'm going to become Avatar guy because my guy is here. So my right is here. So I'm still here, but I'm going to be Avatar guy.
I got you. I will address you as such. I will call his name not 3 times like Beetlejuice and get his voice back on. All right. Well, that being said, because I'm going to be there this year, and again, it's still so far wide out there who could show up here. I didn't necessarily include a bonus point for surprise entrance, but if your brain wants to wonder a little bit, not crazy, a little bit on who you think might show up, that might surprise you, whether TNA past, NXT current, or somewhere else in the business, I welcome you to feel free to let your mind wander a little bit. Walter, let's go with you next. What do you think is going to happen during the Call Your Shot Gauntlet? What's your 2 picks?
So my first pick, now, remind you, I don't feel so strong about these, but
Yeah, right.
I'm going to say Jake something, just because I feel like he's on a little push after he formed this tag team. I feel like he's got the management behind him. So I'm gonna go with Jake something. And the reason I laugh so hard with JJ talk is because he had my idea. I think it may be someone from NXT that pops in here, but I'm gonna pick a female, and I'm gonna say Santino's daughter, Ariana Grace, puts herself in there, and she wins, just so we can get that moment. You know, Santino won a battle royal as Santina back in WWE. Now you get Ariana Grace to win one, and you just have them hug it out in the middle of the TNA ring on pay-per-view. I need that moment. JJ's been calling for these moments between Grace and Santino for the longest. I think you got to give it to us. Ariana Grace was my second pick.
Oh, good grief almighty. Well, I don't know that necessarily purges us from the past of my eyes burning when Santino won, but okay. optimistic, but I like the fact that right now everyone's going with basically TNA and then NXT as primary and secondary. Even Daniel talking about $8 and Nikita Lyons. Well, I mean, Obafemi and Nikita might become something. That's a whole different kingdom waiting to be built. Just saying. Chris, where's your mind at with this? What's your 2 picks for the Call Your Shot Gauntlet?
Well, my first pick is going to be Frankie Kazarian because he's the special guest referee in our main event, and I'm saving my prediction on the main event when we get to that point.
Clearly.
My second pick, I know JJ said Opa. Walter, who did you say for your second?
Ariana.
I have a gut feeling if they want to make a big splash with the Call Your Gauntlet, I have a gut feeling it could be an NXT star. And I'm going with a woman, and I said the word splash. I'm going to say Sol Ruka.
Ooh, okay. She's crossed the line already. I like that. Of course,
she crossed my mind. I can't lie. She crossed my mind.
So you guys got to consider a couple of things here also. This is on the countdown this year, not the main card. It is before practically everything else. If we get anything before this, it will be a match of tag elegance, if you want to call it that. So I understand where you're coming from and saying the story and the pace of the night. Everybody's going to come in here fresh, so it's not the first time we've seen Call Your Shot Gauntlet people work double duty on pay-per-view. So I like where you all are going, but when I think about the Call Your Shot Gauntlet and who could take advantage of it the same night, I mean, come on. It almost feels like it just has to be Frank Kazarian that goes coast to coast. I mean, this guy literally nearly won an NXT Battle Royale to challenge for the NXT Championship. Might I remind you, when we first started the NXT TNA crossover relationship. So as much as he annoys me, and I'm glad he got his comeuppance tonight, I do go with Frank Kazarian as my primary. As far as secondary, I like this idea of us figuring about outside TNA and NXT having a chance at the TNA World Championship, if not something else. But you all keep going on the female side. I'm going to go on the male side, and I'm going to go with Mr. Bouncy, Javon Evans. I think Javon Evans could be a prime candidate to challenge me for the X Division Championship, and the Call Your Shot Gauntlet can launch him towards maybe that platform. Remember, Call Your Shot Gauntlet applies to any championship. It's not just relegated to the World Championship. And why I do believe that if you win this, why would you not go to the World Championship? There's that sense of pride and that sense of drive for a competitor to pursue something they've been wanting that fits more their class and maybe something they dream about. I look at Javon Evans, I think future X Division champion. He's got that much limitless potential. So I'm going to go a little different with y'all, but still go Team NXT and go with Kazarian, which I'm sure is going to be most of his primary pick, and Javon Evans. Those are my 2. All right. And a little bit of note here. That's fine. He's keeping posted. Okay. And looks like he appreciates the fresh cut. But again, I like the idea that we're thinking about not just TNA. We're thinking about NXT. Because I do think it would be cool for an NXT superstar to win the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. I really do. And Tatilla also saying, shout out to Tatilla, my fellow TNA correspondent. We are NOLA. That would involve Cash for the Gauntlet, though, since he's there at number 1. And we know number 20 is Flop Darn. We know he can flop over the top rope with his own power, but how many people does it take to flop a flop? I'm just saying. Or flip a flop. Flop a flip? Flip flop? Flop flip? I'm getting confused. Sorry. Not sorry. All right. Anyway, and then Tatilla, quick question here. Do you think Josh wins and robs Hendry his moment like Moose robbed him of his moment? I didn't think about Josh Alexander considering this is the countdown and we know we're going to be talking about here later, but hey, Moose literally did it the same night. Who's to say the winner of this doesn't do it the same night? And if we're all going with Kazarian, we might literally be looking at the king of TNA before the end of Bound for Glory. But we'll talk more about that later. All right, well, let's go ahead and get into the main card. And I just talked about that Division Championship. Let's talk about literally the title that has established the reason why TNA's name exists as a standout of the business, shall we? Let's go ahead and talk about the X Division Championship. In this dream match, it is the 3-time X Division champion, Speedball Mike Bailey, defending the gold against the former AAA Mega Champion, the Kingo. Oh, Lord. Okay. So, first off, Vikingo, for those that don't know, is a record-setting AAA Mega champion with wins over the likes of Kenny Omega, Rey Fenix. He had to leave the title due to injury. He is one of the craziest luchadors I've ever seen in this modern era. Speedball Mike Bailey, arguably professional wrestler of the decade, with the hardest work of it since coming into TNA. Now a three-time SVG champion after beating Zachary Wentz in what was probably match of the night at Victory Road. With probably a successful defense against the likes of Leon Slater, not to mention his 30-plus minute clinic in Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling against friggin' Konosuke Takeshita, the AEW International champion. Speedball Mike Bailey is on another level when it comes to competitor and drive, showcasing the spirit and the division that truly is about no limits. Now our exhibition champion. Now, I will say this, in the previous Bound for Glory, we know that Speedball Mike Bailey lost that title to Fred Kazarian and allowed him to use option C. Remember, we're near that time at this point now where an exhibition champion can use option C to get a world championship match. Not that I'm saying that Speedball is going to do that, considering how much pride he has for this, but it might be something to think about here. And Vikingo, he's somebody that we have not seen for quite a period of time in TNA. So, again, you just all think about that. All right. Well, as we see if anyone's got anything to say in the chat first here, because sometimes I like to put the chat on the spot. And, again, we'll talk more about that at the end. Shout out to Dwayne Atkinson, fellow friends in the bidding community. Chris, we'll start with you on this. Do you believe that Speedball Mike Bailey loses the exhibition championship to El Hijo del Vikingo, or do you think Speedball retains?
Well, I feel this match is going to be a banger of a match. It could literally steal the show on Saturday night. I'm going to go with Mike Bailey to retain on Saturday.
All right. And shout out to Mega Wrestling JJ Williams, who did give us a comment. I'm not going to do the anonymous general manager sound for that. Nope. He says he likes Vikingo, but Speedball is retaining. Well, Walter, again, Speedball Mike Bailey, arguably one of top 5 wrestlers right now of the year. We've seen this guy have clearance with insert person named here from this company. It's automatically a match of the night candidate. The X Division usually sets the pace for the night. Top this shit. But what do you guys say regarding this match?
A part of me really wants to go with El Hijo Vikingo, but the fact that Speedball already won the title, lost the title, and won it back, I don't think they want to play around with the X Division title and play, hot potato with it again, because Speedball won it, then he lost it, and then he won it back already. So he's already got a 2-time reign in the last 4 months. So I don't want to see that title. Pardon, Javon. I don't want to see it bounced around. But I gotta go with Speedball Mike Bailey. Wow, botch. But Mike Bailey, and he's got to retain it. Hopefully, I'm right, because I don't want to see him already, have the title twice and lost it twice in this short amount of time.
Well, let's be honest here. I mean, there's been over 116 different X Division champions in this company's history, and some title reigns have really lasted but a couple of months. And let's also just put it out there. The way that Speedball previously lost the title wasn't even singles action. It was Ultimate X. Zachary Wentz was able to make it across the ropes and grab it, and then Wentz and Speedball had a clinic where Wentz proved his worth as a champion, but at the end of the day, he was not meant to hold up for the X Division.
I think that was just done to please NXT, to have a title around Zachary Wentz's waist while he was in a feud with an NXT star. That's all that was. So
publicity.
Yeah.
Possibly, but let's go ahead and get Emmanuel's words here. He came right in time during the main show, so good job, man. Emmanuel, good to see you. What's your thoughts regarding the X Division Championship? Speedball Mike Bailey or Hijo del Vikingo?
Like the Speedball Mike Bailey, I mean, like it's a like Walter said, like he just barely won it. It'd be kind of like okay, what are you doing with the X Division title? Like you need to build a reliable, strong outcomer, and I think the Rascal who won the X Division just needed the title temporary for the NXT pay-per-view.
All right,
Zachary Wentz. That's right, Rascal, right?
Yeah, Zachary Wentz. He formed Rascal.
Okay, and that was the only reason why he won it, just to to say he won the championship because that was Wesley's saying that King Nero has won the title, and now he did. That there's like a temporary thing, and so now for once they will build having a couple of months of hopefully a year because I like his stuff as a wrestler. He really impresses me much. Like I'm surprised that he's not anyone who has crossed over yet. Maybe soon, but time will tell.
Well, again, after Bound for Glory, let's not forget the following night, we'll be back here in the Super Studios covering Halloween Havoc, and we do wonder if NXT is approaching a deadline yet to be announced. So, again, you could be onto something. But I do think we are in for a lot of change to come out of Bound for Glory. Remember, last year's Bound for Glory brought back TNA as the end announcement. What awaits us at the end of this year's Bound for Glory? That could be the most important, groundbreaking, landscape-altering show of TNA's calendar year. We'll have to wait and see. All right. Well, either way, it sounds like it's unanimous across the board that we have Speedball retaining. And Datilda, glad to see you peeing in as well. Always appreciate your thoughts. She wants Speedball to retain and have him loosely on Slater, allowing Slater to break Red's record. Of course, referring to Amazing Red. So it's one of those things where, again, Amazing Red, Trailblazer X Division, include but not limited to the likes of Christopher Daniels, Phenomenal AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, you say a who's who. They've been X Division champion and made this division their own. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the women's side of things. Hey, the Renegade's back. Perfect, because he can kick this off because it's NXT. Let's talk about if a nightmare will finally hold gold in both TNA and NXT. As the TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions are on the line, it's Spitfire, who, of course, talking about Danny Luna. By the way, Danny Luna was not on TNA tonight. He was handling some personal matters. I hope those do get resolved and it doesn't affect necessarily Saturday, but Danny Luna, all the best. It's Danny Luna and Jody Fret taking on Rosemary and Wendy Choo. Oh, boy, this freaking duo during NXT has been an absolute living nightmare for everybody. Okay, so simply put, we have seen multiple times now across both TNA and NXT the combination of Wendy Choo and Rosemary wreak havoc. They've got wins, they've gotten losses. Wendy Choo, of course, challenged Jordan Grace for the TNA Knockouts World Championship, and why she lost, it was Rosemary and Choo that dropped the champion. They still got the statement. Most recently, we saw Wendy Choo and Rosemary in action on NXT, and they got the win. We've also seen this fallout lately with Wendy Choo and Tatum Paxley, to the point, if you all watch NXT this week, not only did Tatum Paxley lose to Jada Parker, Wendy Choo put Tam to sleep and patch her away in a crate. There's no telling where Tam Paxley is right now, so we don't know we'll ever see her again. But tonight, very game competitive match with Jody Fret. Of course, Spitfire's been haunted by Choo and Rosemary. They've been targeted. Very game match, though, with Jody Fret and Wendy Choo. It's hard to say these names sometimes. Good grief. And thanks to a distraction and a pillow, it was Wendy Choo that did get the better of the champion. So, simply put, the challengers are going with momentum against the champions. In the previous Bound for Glory and Slammiversary, we have seen the Knockouts Tag Team Championships mixed-wise change hands and be held on. Last year was MK Ultra that, of course, held on against, I believe it was Tasha Steelz and the virtuosa Deonna Purrazzo. You're talking about history, you're talking about Bound for Glory, you're talking about NXT. Is this the time when you get somebody from NXT holding gold in TNA? That's the question you really need to think about here. And also, these titles basically juggle after Spitfire just beat the system literally at Victory Road, putting their team on the line. So just put that out there. JJ, what you got to say regarding this?
So we have an opportunity here to put some gold on an NXT superstar in TNA.
Correct.
Not the first time we've had one of these opportunities, whether it was an NXT star getting TNA gold or a TNA star getting NXT gold.
Yep.
But Noah, what is the one thing you and I, and even Walter, are constantly talking about that is missing ever since Ronda and Shayna versus the Unholy Union?
Oh, gee, I wonder what you could be referring to. Oh, that's right. Freaking merit in women's tag team wrestling.
I was just going for the NXT tag titles in particular. But yeah, we can get NAF kind of fired up. Super chat if you want a real Noah rant.
Stop trying to pull out NAF.
So
Stop trying to
we
pull that
have
out.
an opportunity. So we have an opportunity to get a set of tag titles on women and an NXT star. And it happens to be a spooky duo, Rosemary and Wendy Choo. Noah, what's Sunday, the day after Bound for Glory?
That would be Halloween Havoc.
Your winners and new TNA World Tag Team Champions. Because even if they are unable to appear in person at Havoc, because TNA will be doing their TV tapings that day, even if they're unable to appear in person, they can send a video package. And we know that NXT is going to the Extreme on November 6th. That would be an opportunity right there for them to defend the titles. Just throwing that out there.
All right. Well, JJ has officially set the ballot to new TNA Knockouts World Tag Team Champions in Rosemary and Wendy Choo. Yeah, it's just one of those things where I look at right now what WWE's trying to do with women's tag team wrestling and all these teams butting heads across the rosters in NXT. You had Chelsea Green and Piper Niven confront the TikTok rejects and Damage Control. That was honestly my favorite moment that night. Yay. You've had, again, the whatever Shayna and her crew is still. I guess there's still something. You still have KC Squared, but you also still have, shouldn't be champs, Jay Cargill and Bianca Belair holding the gold while the Unknown Union right now has been stuck in the darkness, darker than Wendy Choo and Rosemary, which is pissing me off. But it feels like to me right now, WWE's trying to make their only set of women's tag team titles mean something across all three brands. And I feel like with that focus there, I don't know necessarily if they want to bring in the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championships into NXT or somehow have them coexist maybe with NXT. So, again, they did just win them back at Victory Road. So, as much as I like the idea, I think Wendy Choo is there for the experience and Rosemary's there with the name value and getting that exposure and that character development. And it's working enough as it is. It's one of those things where I look at these two, they don't need the titles. They still can go about their haunting ways across TNA and NXT, especially with Halloween Havoc. I mean, shoot, they don't even need to think about that. I'm just saying. I think that somehow the champs are going to retain. I think it's going to be 50-50 in the sense that, again, we just saw Choo beat Fret tonight. Danny Luna was not there. And I think that they're going to hold out with Danny Luna and Jody Fred to hold in these, but maybe they'll finally cross over with them as well. Plus, I think Tam Paxley is going to show up. And I don't think you're going to have to say her name 3 times. All right? I'm just saying. I think they retain. Emmanuel, what about you?
Well, I think JJ has onto something. Like, I was going to say Rosemary and Wendy Choo is going to win this as well. Like Spitfire, they're okay tag team. Like since like a couple months ago, like I just barely saw them. They're decent enough. I can see why they got their moment. But it will make sense if Tatum and her best friend, Lyra Bakuria, will be the first contenders to face Wendy Choo and Rosemary. Like it makes sense, and like maybe we will see it on Sunday. Like who knows on the NXT pay-per-view, but maybe Devin. I'm not sure what the plan is for HBK because that's a different story. That's a different network, and it's a different show that we can't discuss because. But that's what basically my pick. I think it's time for something to happen because if we go to have TNA and NXT collab, we need to have titles be changed. We need something to be happening for this collaboration to be successful. If not, like it's like what are we doing here? We're just gonna have sometimes NXT lose over there, sometimes TNA lose over in NXT. Like, we need to have more interactions, more matches, more, hopefully, and standard deliver TNA versus NXT.
I mean, I think you're just waiting for a Worlds Collide, and again, we don't have anything in January. Just saying. All right, that's fair. Chris, where do you stand with this? I mean, again, Winnie Choo, she really has redefined her character since she woke up with her eyes open, still walking a nightmare and making everyone else live it. But also, her and Rosemary, they really have just gelled together perfectly, kind of like JJ's background with the TV and the Exhibition Championship. So, Chris, where do you stand with the future of the TNA Knockouts tag titles here? Do you think Spitfire gets snuffed out?
Well, I'm keeping it short and sweet. I'm going to say Spitfire is going to retain the tag team champions by the help of Tatum Paxley.
Basically going off my mindset. Then, Walter, you close it out. So we got 2 retainment, 2 changes. Guess what? You're a tiebreaker. Where do you stand?
There's an old cliche that great minds think alike, and JJ and I were like on that same wavelength. Halloween Havoc is around the corner. The actual holiday, which is not really a holiday, Halloween is around the corner. This is your opportunity. You got to go with the new tag champions. And every time we've had an opportunity for like someone from NXT to hold the title, even though I've been wrong, I predicted it. So why break the train now? I'm going for new tag team champions. And even though the tapings are there, coming up and they can't physically be there, you can damn sure film something spooky, some crazy weird vignette, and you can tape it and make it show on Halloween Havoc. Like, you gotta do it. Like, the title in a dollhouse, or in something weird, a scary house, something weird with the titles. Like, you gotta do it. Like, this is the opportunity, and I gotta go with new champs.
All right, I respect that. I still think, though, there's a more realistic possibility that you do Rosemary versus Tam Paxley as your NXT crossover event, maybe at Halloween Havoc itself, and that can be made out with Havoc at Bound for Glory. So either way, I still think Spitfire retains. So we'll see. I like the fact that this is very partisan. All right, well, that was a good conversation there. Shout out, before I continue, to the Cleaver, Colin, Andrew, and yes, JJ, I see your hand.
You can't tell me, Noah, that you wouldn't like to see Wendy Choo and Rosemary versus the Unholy Union, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn.
I'm not going to deny that.
At the Land of Extreme.
Not going to deny that. I appreciate you, Cleaver, Con, Andrew. Get your prime cuts, folks, and I will send you both forms tomorrow, of course, because, again, it's a double feature weekend. So, folks, please stay tuned. Get the forms filled out respectfully. Focus your Saturday knowledge towards TNA Bound for Glory and your Sunday shenanigans for NXT Halloween Havoc. But again, I'll have
both forms. And if you're a fan of mixed martial arts, don't forget about Walter and James doing UFC prior to Bound for Glory.
Thankfully, I don't have to make predictions for us for that. All right. And that's going to be a whole different form of mayhem. Speaking of mayhem, let's go ahead and move into a singles grudge match here. And we're going around the horn here. So I believe, Walter, you're next. Let's talk about this rivalry renewed. This is going to be a grudge match for damn sure. It's the walking weapon, Josh Alexander versus Steve Maclin. I get that, by the way. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this, shall we? For those that don't know, this is one of the longer running rivalries in modern day TNA Impact Wrestling history. At one point, Steve Maclin was literally, I would say, scouting Josh Alexander to try and beat him for the former Impact World Championship. He never got the chance to. He won the title under vacancy circumstances when Alexander had to relinquish it. And since Josh came back from injury, he has yet to get back that championship and kind of has turned his moral code against TNA. And now we have Steve Maclin and Josh Alexander renewing hostilities in a different way. Steve Maclin, an army of one with Mayhem for All. Josh Alexander now runs the Northern Armory in the tag team of Sinner and Saint. After wiping out Eric Young, it's Steve Maclin against the world, but we know the world-class man has lived and died 10 times over. I would not think he will be too far away from this. In a match for, I would think, company pride, where you think both these individuals represent TNA, it's almost like Josh Alexander has turned his back on those ways and now looks to win by any means necessary. But Maclin shows no fear. He was about to get decked in the head with a steel chair while zip-tied to the second rope after a 3-on-1 assault. and the TNA locker room came out to save Maclin. Cody Deaner, Sammy Callahan, and I believe Ace Steel. So we got this one-on-one grudge Robert renewed. The last time these two went one-on-one, Maclin lost against Josh Alexander at Victory Road last year. Just saying. Okay, Walter, so where do you stand with these two former TNA World Champions? Does Josh Alexander finally start getting his reset back thanks to his Northern Armory? Or does Steve Maclin find a way to tag him back three people at once?
This one is the one that I've been going really back and forth in my head about, just because the momentum that Alexander is on since he turned heel, and I mean, he's a machine. He's everything that he says he is. But then Maclin really needs this win to me. Like, I feel like if anyone needs it, and to get the win, even though he's a former champion himself, to get a win over a former champ, maybe he can get some momentum going and we see a renewed push for him. So, I mean, like, throughout the day, I've been picking one name then the other, and then convinced myself to go back. So, like, this was really hard for me. Like,
this is TNA,
again,
the most unpredictable company in the wrestling business.
Yeah, it's again, who's right, your heart or your mind? Because I want in my heart Steve Maclin to win, but in my brain, I'm just saying Josh is gonna win. But you know what? Screw it. Steve Maclin wins, but it's not as clean as it should be because Josh Alexander is probably gonna get disqualified or something. He's gonna snap or something. So I say Maclin wins. Either way, it's about who walks away with the victory, not how.
And especially with no title on the line, but there could be title implications for these two former TNA World Champions. And to your point, we saw what happened at Slammiversary. Maclin got eliminated first, but he still kept true to TNA after Eric Young and him had a fight that came respectful at Victory Road. Why Josh Alexander not only lost at Slammiversary, he cost Joe Hendry, and Joe Hendry embarrassed him at 50 Road, making him literally tap out to his own ankle lock. But Josh Alexander did get the win tonight, Emmanuel, using, to your point, Walter, a foreign object from his knee, a metal bit that he crammed in Jonathan Gresson's head. And with his Northern Armory with distraction points, he basically has his own game plan now to win by any means necessary, it seems. The real Josh Alexander, apparently. Emmanuel, where do you stand with this?
Yeah, like I was hoping Walter Slot might use their brain. Because guess what? The brain always wins over the heart. So like it's Josh Alexander. He just created a new, like, I guess, sort of faction. You could say. I'm not sure what they're gonna call the new faction, but I guess what?
It's called the Northern Armory. He's using the tag team as Sinner and Saint so far.
Okay. I just gonna call it the Armory, and the Armory will interfere, and like I feel like there's gonna be more distractions. Maybe that's how Josh Alexander sneaks the win, and hopefully. Like he'll get back to the TNA World Championship in the future. I think that's the goal. Like once Joe Hendry beats Frankie, but that's till they're on.
Fair enough. JJ, of course, Sinner and Saint when we covered Prestige Wrestling. You saw how kibble they were during that Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match with Bound Angels holding on to the Prestige Wrestling Tag Team Champions at the time. Now newly signed to TNA and underneath the learning tree, of Josh Alexander. You almost feel like Josh Alexander is trying to build his own Team Canada 2.0, the Northern Armory. Just saying. Josh Alexander is from Canada, folks. Just saying. That being said, JJ, what do you think about this match? Do you think that Eric Young can come back to life again, help Maclin fend off the Armory and get the win over Alexander, getting that win back from Victory Road, or does Josh continue his momentum?
Sometimes I hate following Walter because he said exactly what I was going to say. It's a matter of the mind over the heart. My heart wants Maclin. My brain is telling me Josh Alexander, just like Walter said. And no, folks, I haven't partaken in the goods from Cal Fire Farms.
Yeah.
No, I don't do that. Can't
Yeah.
with my medical conditions. But
Anyway, continue.
I feel like it's too soon in the Northern Armory's development for them to take an L. You know, I feel like the Northern Armory has the potential to go on a bloodline style run.
That's a hot take.
If booked right, and considering TNA is under the Endeavor umbrella, which is under the WWE umbrella,
Yes.
it can be booked right. If booked right, I think the Northern Armory can be as strong and as powerful and as dominant as the Bloodline. How long was it before the Bloodline started taking L's? It wasn't the first pay-per-view. It wasn't the second pay-per-view. It was maybe a year in before you got those one-off L's. And they were cheap, sneaky. You know, somebody was able to find the kryptonite and get a fluke victory over the Usos. Wasn't Roman. It was the Usos or Solo. Hell, even Sammy. But it wasn't Roman. So it's not Josh Alexander. Because Josh can be the Roman. Sinner and Saint the Usos. You just need someone to be that comic relief and see if everybody's feeling Usi. Which could be how Eric Young comes back into this. We have seen Eric Young reinvent himself so many times. Who's to say Eric Young doesn't revert back to the Eric Young that he was when he first came into TNA, which was comic relief.
Yeah, super young. You're not wrong there. Yeah.
Even if it's just a ploy to get Josh Alexander to trust him.
Damn, that was babyface, no hair on his chin, Eric Young. That was like, whew.
Don't fire Eric. Don't fire Eric.
Don't fire Eric. We don't talk about that one.
Yes, we do, because that's the Eric Young that held half of the knockout tag team titles with older. Yeah, ODB.
Why? This is why I don't talk about that. Continue. Anyway.
Josh Alexander is going to get the W here.
Look, it's one of those things where if Eric Young doesn't show up, then I could see literally Josh Alexander getting the win here. But again, TNA is unpredictable for a reason. Damn it. And we only have 2 shows left after this in the TNA League, and it's still neck and neck with many people, including me. I just feel like right now with the numbers game uneven, and that plays in the Northern Armory's favor, you gotta consider something's gonna come in here to try and offset that. And whether or not it's Eric Young or somebody else that may have been forgotten at some point, I think Maclin's going to surprise us here, especially when you talk about the development of the Northern Armory. Maclin now is in the new role as a baby face, defending the honor and the integrity of TNA. I'm going to hold out here and say Maclin gets the big win here on pay-per-view. You got to consider Maclin has not won for a while either, in tag or singles. Just saying. I'm going against you guys and going against the grain and figure that Maclin gets the win because I don't think Josh is looking for a win. Josh is looking for a statement. And if it wasn't for those people that came to Macklin's aid, he would have brained him with a steel chair. I'm going with Maclin. Chris, what do you got to say about this to close it out?
Well, it should be a good match.
There it is.
I'm going to say Josh Alexander is going to win on Saturday.
All right. So I'm the odd one out again.
We're the only two. Noah, we're the only two.
It's just one of those things where right now, you got to consider there's probably more to this with the history of Maclin and Alexander. To the point we might be getting like a lockdown match at some point. You got Macklin's Battlefront and you got the Northern Armory on the other side. I'm just looking at further down the line.
To your
Ye-
point,
yes,
yeah,
Steve.
I don't think Josh cares about winning. He just wants to show
Bludgeon.
what he can do. Yeah, exactly. What you
Yeah,
were
with a
saying.
metal
That's why I
bit.
picked. That's why I went against him.
Yeah, with a metal bit from his knee. What you gotta say, quick, Manuel?
Yeah, you're just like Maclin could just easily win this and just like in the end of the match, you know how the heels get the heat back. They attack Maclin from behind, and that's you keep them strong. Like it's there's maybe Maclin does win it, like for all we know, but for me, like it makes more sense for Alexander to get the clean win, making him look strong and unstoppable. That's the goal, hopefully, for TNA.
Sounds like a bipolar Kurt Angle freaking mindset. Yes, JJ.
There's no point for a lockdown unless you have matches where Sinner and Saint keep getting involved, helping Alexander get the W.
Yeah.
Because lockdown is your essential steel cage Hell in a Cell. It's designed to keep people out. We know there's always ways in now, but it's
Yeah.
designed to keep people out. So you don't get to a lethal lockdown match unless Josh Alexander keeps winning because of their interference, like Roman did with the Usos in the Bloodline.
Maybe barbed wire massacre then. I get you. Maybe barbed wire massacre. Either way, I think Maclin and Alexander are going to go to war, and each team is going to go to war with a battalion behind them. Why he's got an armory, I have no idea what the former vet. By the way, Maclin, of course, formerly served. Respect. I have no idea what the former veteran's going to have at his side, whether it's a world-class medic or something else by design. Violent. Just saying. But I'm going with Maclin here. All it takes is 3 seconds. All right. Especially with a bruised ego that Josh Alexander has since Joe Hendry submitted him. Just saying. Okay, well, let's go ahead and move on from there to something that's going to be far less constructive and more destructive. It's a staple at TNA once again. We're going to the Monsters Ball with the monster himself. And you uploaded the wrong graphic twice. Botched, so I'll let you work on that behind the scenes. It's the TNA Digital Media Championship and the International Heavyweight Wrestling Championship. 2 titles on the line. French-Canadian Frankenstein, easy for me to say. French-Canadian Frankenstein, a.k.a. Perfect Creation 1, PCO. You can say whatever name you want with him. He's not human. Going up against one-on-one, finally, Matt Cardona. So the long-running history here, of course, is PCO. You can't kill this guy. You cannot kill him, won't die. Of course, PCO was able to literally flop on his ass and win both these titles, which made me very happy. Unfortunate circumstances outside of that, and the fact that the man's married to Martin Elmira. Steph Delaney, by the way, who's doing great in her recovery. All the best to her. She is out indefinitely. Formerly used to roll alongside Matt Cardona as the Deathmatch Queen to the Deathmatch King. And of course, Matt Cardona came back to cause havoc and of course get back formerly a TNA Digital Media Champion, his Digital Media Championship. He's been trying his best to use our monsters and avoid this match like it's a freaking plague. Well, there's no avoiding it now. And it's Monsters Ball, which means anything freaking goes. So the same type of match that's had the likes of Moose, Sami Callihan, and of course the man that defined it for the longest time, Abyss, now has PCO and Matt Cardona, the former Deathmatch King. So honestly, your imagination could go about what you think is going to be used here and who's going to be bleeding worse. So let's go ahead and see if you believe there's going to be a new TNA Digital Media and International Heavyweight Champion, as both titles are on the line. And we will start off with Chris, what do you got to say regarding this?
Well, I'm gonna say this is gonna be one heck of a match. Anything can happen in this type of match. Bleeding's gonna definitely be involved. I'm gonna say we are gonna see a brand new champion on Saturday. Matt Cardona's gonna win, and hopefully Chelsea Green can be there to help Matt Cardona win the championship on Saturday.
That would be the first time I saw Chelsea Green come back to Impact Wrestling and TNA. I saw her come back in 2021. So, I mean, I'm all about the hot mess. I'd love to see that again. By the way, I loved her throwback ensemble on Tuesday night. She is brilliant. Why is this woman not champion? Damn crime. Anyway, that's a whole different conversation. All right, so he believes that Matt Cardona, who at one point said Zack Ryder must die, is going to regain the Digital Media Championship and also become the International Heavyweight Wrestling Champion. Try saying that 5 times fast. Let's keep going around the horn and see what other people think. We'll go counterclockwise this time because this match is bizarre, so why should I follow the norm? Walter, what do you guys say regarding this match?
If this would be a lot easier to predict if both titles weren't on the line, like
right?
Yeah. But damn it, you know what? I'm gonna go with Chris. I think Cardona is gonna win the digital media title. I don't think the company itself is gonna want PCO with both those titles. But then again, behind the scenes, we know Cardona's kind of a free agent, so like he can work anywhere he wants. So are you going to give your title to someone who can potentially not even come back if he doesn't want to? Like, so like logically speaking, and we know you can't mix logic and wrestling together, but I don't know. I just think Cardona pulls it out. It just makes more sense for him to win.
All right. Well, JJ, he's used Rhino. He's used Khan. We saw Pick Your Poison. We saw how that fallout happened last week on TNA. What else does Matt Cardona have left that could actually beat PCO in a Monsters Ball where last time I checked, PCO was involved in a 4-way Monsters Ball last year at Bound for Glory. And a certain person on this panel didn't go with him, and another person did, and he was right, and it still pisses me off to this day 1 year later. Not pointing out names, just saying. But that being said, JJ, you've been a heavy supporter of PCO since our throwback call of WrestleMania insert number here. So what do you got to say regarding this?
And I'm still a fan of PCO. The problem here is I like Cardona too. I am a fan of Cardona, always have been. Chelsea Green is an interesting shout. You know, I would say it the Samantha Irvin way, but it's late at night. My lady's asleep, not trying to wake her up.
That's a whole different monster you don't want to deal with.
For real. Chelsea Green's a good shout. Something else that could always come into play is I know none of us trust the system.
No.
But Matt Cardona does have an ally in the system.
That's true.
The former Kurt Hawkins.
And also a former Digital Media champion handed off to him by Matt Cardona.
One half of the major players, Brian Myers.
Former Raw Tag Team champions.
And with the exception of maybe the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, I don't believe the system is on this card.
They got the Tattoos, they got Moose, JDC is not on the card, and I think Alicia Edwards is not medically cleared.
So it's like, I don't know. I want to see PCO win because it's almost Halloween. You gotta, the French Canadian Frankenstein retains, you know, it seems perfect.
It's too damn obvious.
He can lose a turning point as part of WrestleCade weekend. You know, when there's going to be all the legends there as part of the WrestleCade, and you know, TNA is probably going to tap some of those for special guest appearances.
That's fair.
He can lose it then. But you got to have PCO as your champion going into Halloween. Impact airs on Thursdays. Halloween is a Thursday.
Oh, shit.
So the tapings that occur on Sunday will be for the Halloween episode.
Oh, no.
You've got to have the modern day Frankenstein still as your champion for Halloween.
And this is also brought to you by the movie The Eye of the Salamander, whatever the hell that means. November 1st.
And I've been keeping tabs on Steph DeLander as well. I follow her on multiple platforms, including some exclusive paywall ones. She's doing well enough that I could see her being there because of the fact that the tapings would be setting up a Halloween episode. And she is the bride of the French Canadian Frankenstein.
And Matt Cardona crashed it and Brenda sent her back to Australia, saying that she is her property.
All that, you're messing up my storytelling, Noah. Frankenstein and the bride on a Halloween Impact. Work with me, simple man. Even Christopher is rubbing his head like, how do you not see this?
I do see it, but I don't give a damn about Halloween. I've told you this already.
I know you don't. I know you don't. But work with me here.
I hate holiday themed bullshit in wrestling because it's always so gimmicky underplayed. Especially
and if you want to see Noah have fun with Halloween and be gimmicky and overplayed, go back to our Halloween karaoke and watch him do Purple People Heater as Noahhausen.
That's never happening again. I locked that guy away.
A bullshit? A bullshit?
Yeah, no.
For the right superhead chat, it'll happen again.
No,
don't put your foot in your mouth.
He's probably 6 feet under.
PCO retains here.
The only reason I'm going to say
Halloween.
The only reason I'm going to say PCO retains for I give it a minute to close out this madness, get that graphic up the screen, damn it, is because PCO is TNA, and every time PCO is on pay-per-view, he doesn't freaking lose. Every time I bet against this freaking Frankenstein, he somehow wins. What the hell? How the hell is this 52-year-old former world champion so damn effective in TNA wrestling in 2024? Got it.
You know what really pissed Noah off is PCO and Swinger as TNA Tag Team Champions.
Urge to kill. Rise.
See?
Could hold my blood pressure in order as somebody with not high blood pressure right now, but feels like he might as well be. Walter, I see your hand, and the man will go to you to close this madness out, hopefully.
I love everything JJ's saying, but I just want to put it out there as a throwback. Think about what Matt Cardona did to get himself over. What did he use? YouTube, social media. This title is called the Digital Media Championship. Who fits that more than Matt Cardona? He got himself over making YouTubes, made his own title, did everything, and he's basically famous because he took his own ball and just gambled on himself. So it's like that title is like perfectly fitting for him. But I do love everything JJ was saying. But then again, what if the bride has been with Matt? You know, he said you owe me this and you owe that. I brought you here. What if he somehow got in her ear? I'm just saying.
Halloween has no rhyme or reason. There's a reason why it says trick or treat. I really hope that this trick is a treat for me. Briefly. Emmanuel, what do you got to say regarding this madness?
I mean, like, I was kind of upsetting Dave when my mom found out the PCO was not the Frankenstein. She was like because I was seeing TNA lately, and she was like, "Wow, like they brought a Frankenstein wrestler." I'm like, "No, like Mom, it's PCO." Like, oh, like she was kind of a little bit disappointed, just a little bit disappointed. Like, but anyways, I see Matt Cardona winning because like Stephanie Lander, like I feel like this injury really affected the storyline. Like it really did. Like and her not being there, like it feels like it's stacking the heat. It makes you want to see like where Stephanie Lander like stands, like with her husband or with Matt. But since she's not there, it kind of feels like okay, where is this going? Just PCO trying to get on Matt Cardona's hands on him, and what happens when you get your emotions run over you? You lose the match, you lose focus, and that's why Matt Cardona is going to capitalize that. Stephanie's going to distract PCO, thinking like something's going to happen to Stephanie, like either she's going to take a bump or something, or fall down safely without her getting re-injured or injured even further, or this is just like they just said, like if she's fine, then this is seems like a backstabbing moment for Stephanie
Hmm.
to happen. So that's why I think Matt Canora might win this.
Damn, he thinks Steph's going to turn on PCO. That's a hot take. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to really make of that. I mean, I don't think PCO would ever hit a woman, but I mean, I don't know what happens when you break the heart of a French Canadian Frankenstein either. So, I mean, that's a whole different tangent, but I just don't think, like, also whoever said that he's not signed. Good point. Yeah, I just don't see Matt Cardona winning. I see this being like a big time appearance thing for him. And to Emmanuel's point, yeah, I think the end game is Steph breaks off from Matt permanently. Maybe kicking him in the balls. I don't know. But I think that all got halted too. So, yeah, PCO retaining. You don't bet against PCO on pay-per-view. It's like the freaking Roman Reigns and Charlotte Flair rule. Sorry, JJ. It is what it is. That's how the system works in wrestling. Anyway, speaking of system, let's go ahead and talk about the system, shall we? While we talk about two men that literally were born and raised and live in the streets, one still lives true to the streets, the realist, while the other one became the face of the franchise. You talked about the system earlier. Let's start seeing if the system finally fails. And let's start with this singles grudge. It's Moose versus Mike Santana. Mike Santana, who was literally made prime target by the system as the greatest threat to Moose's TNA World Championship prior to Slammiversary. They used JDC to make sure that Mike Santana would not be part of the six-way eliminator, and he wasn't. Since then, Mike Santana has had a personal vendetta against Moose and the system, not only bludgeoning JDC, but at one point in being in their locker room with no fear at all, and a steel chain. He attacked the system, but each time he's tried to get the better of Moose, particularly, the system has gotten the better of him. It happened tonight during, I'll just give you a little bit of cause and effect as we get ready for our true main event following this. It was the Hardys and ABC versus the system, and it was the Hardys and ABC that won thanks to the 1-2 sweep on JDC. But the system stood tall in the end, even with Mike Santana coming out, thanks to that hack, Alicia Edwards, getting involved with a kendo stick and giving Moose the cheap shot that he needs. Last time we saw Mike Santana and Moose took Mike Santana out with a baseball bat. Tonight, they took him out with a steel chain, a chair, and power play moves. So right now, Bound for Glory, is it the fall of the system? And does Mike Santana finally get his vendetta against Moose? One-on-one grudge match, simple as that, but also this might literally set the pace for if the system finally falls and doesn't get a reboot. Let's go ahead and get everybody's thoughts regarding this. Let's see here. We started with Chris last time and went around the horn. Let's start with Manuel and go back normal with clockwise. Manuel, what do you got to say regarding Mike Santana and Moose one-on-one for the first time ever? Do you trust the system? Do you fake Moose? Break Santana? Prove a point how you may still be in the streets, but I grew up beyond that and I am money? Or do you think Mike Santana gets the better of Moose? And is this a sign of better things to come and maybe Moose swan song? People wonder if Moose is literally going to stay for the long term in TNA. At one point, he said, without Scott D'Amore, there is no Moose. Scott's not here. And as far as I'm concerned, Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, very bright start. Can't wait for more of it. What do you guys say regarding the singles match?
I think this storyline has been compelling enough. Like for me, like it feels like it's been like 6 months now that they've been feuding. 7, right?
Yeah, because he came back at Rebellion. You're right.
So for me, it has to be Santana a victory because like he needs to have that closure for to end the system storyline. Like if he loses, like he's gonna keep on trying to get to prove a point. Like he wants to be to stop the system. Like and somewhere like somehow he needs to find a way because I'm not sure if he's gonna do it alone. He and continue the storyline. But this storyline needs to stop at some point, and I think him conquering the system will help and benefit him more in the long run than him, losing against the system because that hardcore match with I forget Fandango's in-ring name, but you know who he is. Like that was a great match. Like it feels like he needs that resolution and move on from him versus the system.
Okay, so he's got Mike Santana. How funny he talks about Final Resolution being the last stop, of course, of TNA's calendar year in December. Coach will cover at Stipulable Studios. And yeah, JDC was literally bludgeoned by Mike Santana, to your point, in a Texas death match. So Mike Santana pretty much has gotten his hands on all the system except Moose. And here we finally are. All right, so fair enough. So bow's been set for this singles grudge match, folks, with Mike Santana getting the win over Moose. Are there any objections to this before we get into our triple main event? I open the floor now to all of you. Going once, going twice. Wow. I think it's the first time we're unanimous. Yeah, Mike Santana definitely, I think, is going to get the win here. It's just one of those things where right now the system has ran TNA since day one, Hard to Kill, and it was all started by the face of the franchise, Moose, who was the TNA World Champion. I think it's time we get Mike Santana a bone and finally get him out of that proud and powerful shadow as a tag player. I think Mike Santana gets the win. Keeping it simple. This should be a hell of a grudge match. And Dirty Dango was his former name. He's actually now Johnny David Curtis or something like that. JDC is his actual name. And he's part of the system. But he's not even booked for the night. So don't be surprised if Moose uses him as an insurance policy or maybe JDC's in the call your shot gauntlet. Either way, Mike Santana, I got winning. All right, kept it short, sweet, and simple. Now we get into the real meat and potatoes, and I can't remember the last time this phrase actually mattered and actually was true. Let's go ahead and get into our triple main event. 3 matches, all grounding championships, and truly they define the future of TNA wrestling. And we're going to go balls to the walls nuts to the extreme in this first one. Let's talk about the triple threat for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. It's Full Metal Mayhem. The ABC, the former TNA World Tag Team Champions, taking on the system. Of course, Brian Myers and the Edwards, who beat the ABC at Victory Road to regain these titles, facing that hack, Alicia Edwards. And of course, Team Extreme themselves, who came back home to TNA for one last run. The Hardys, Matt and Jeff Hardy. Of course, this became a triple threat with Full Metal Mayhem after the system, of course, interfered in ABC versus the Hardys in a number one contenders match. And of course, the system, well, you reap what you sow. The Hardys, of course, who defined Extreme, Full Metal Mayhem. No stranger to this environment at all. I mean, it almost feels like it's made for them. And you almost wonder if this is going to be a moment. And again, is this where the system falls? Not much more to say regarding that, considering the Hardys have been prime target of the system since they came back. Remember, Matt Hardy's wife and his brother were taken out by JDC, and Matt Hardy deleted them both. And of course, the ABC, they have literally juggled with the system for the tag team titles since No Surrender. So here we are now in a triple threat where it's now about pinfall submission. It's about survival and tactics and climbing a ladder. Let's go ahead and talk about this, shall we? We'll go around the horn and get everybody's spots. I saw the sign, so I think we're just going to go ding, ding, ding. So that being said, JJ, what's your thoughts regarding this triple threat here? Do you think this is the Hardys' last run? Do you think the ABC gets it back? I don't think it's 1, 2, 3. Or do you think the system works to a degree?
Well, the system doesn't work. We've proven that over and over again.
This is accurate.
Both in real life and in wrestling.
This is also accurate.
The Hardys are great at climbing ladders. However, they're better at jumping off of them. Their record in winning ladder matches isn't that great. I'd have to do some serious research, but the only one I can think of off the top of my head that they won was the Terry Invitational ladder match at No Mercy 99, 25 years ago this month. I see Emmanuel raising his hand. Like I said, it's the only one that comes to my mind. I'm not saying that there aren't others, but Their track record isn't great, even if there are others. Because I don't think they didn't win any of the TLCs.
No, they crashed
So
and burned in most of them, like to your point.
yeah. So, but the fact that the first ladder match they won was 25 years ago this month is kind of what's got me leaning towards them winning this match. They've wanted to go back to NXT. They've wanted to give and work with some of those guys. We also know that somewhere down the road, possibly WrestleMania 41, possibly further than that, the Hardys are going to get their Hall of Fame induction. This could be the start of them getting back into the WWE. They win these titles, they work with the NXT roster, they make a surprise appearance at the Rumble. You know, it I don't see the ABC taking it in this, but I could see the Hardys putting over the ABC to lose the titles to them. But new champs here, the Hardys.
All right. So bow's been set to the Hardys, becoming the new TNA World Tag Team Champions in Full Metal Mayhem. I'll just say this real quick. Of course, the last time we see were involved in a ladder match for the tag titles was against the Morrison Machine Guns in Ultimate X, ladder-wise. And the ABC did win. ABC has arguably been the defining tag team of TNA this year, if not the last 2 years, quite honestly. I think it was a proverbial pass of the torch from most of the Machine Guns, and JJ's basically setting them up for another great pass of the torch. Hell of an endorsement when you literally face your childhood idols and beat them for tag team gold. So the Hardys is the ballot. Does anyone have a different thought or a disagreement? Going once, going twice. Thinking, and are you doing all with Bears, or do you have a thought, Emmanuel?
I think like for me, it's like it has to be the Hardy Boys might win this. To be honest, because they've been teasing a lot. Like, are they going to be the next tag team like TNA champions? Like it's been teasing, and like it feels like they don't need the title. I get the it's like a nostalgia act. They're trying to help the younger tag teams out. That's why this type of match, and which is a great idea because they get elevated because they they hang with the Hardy Boys in the ladder match. Their specialty, and it's gonna be a great match, and it's gonna be exciting. But for me, like I think that this is the Hardy Boys final run as a tag team. I mean, like I know JJ said like when was the last time there was a WrestleMania when the New Day announces the 14 mystery and WrestleMania 35, 34?
It was 33. Yep, you just sparked my brain. Yep, I remember that.
And that's that's when they won the last time they won the ladder match. In my knowledge, like because I only followed the back in the day, but that's a different story. But yeah, I feel like this is a time like this is hopefully for them to get in the Hall of Fame for the WWE, just to see where Jeff is mentally. Like, is he going to be mentally fine? Like, if it's like he won't go back to his demons because without it, stay away for the tag team titles until he proven. I think enough time has passed by for the Hardys, and he has proven that he is a team player for the TNA, and hopefully he stays clean, he stays straight edge, and let's hope this goes somewhere and make it better tag team in the future.
I do like that a lot, and I do think that TNA has definitely been a resurgence for the Hardys as a duo ever since Jeff came back to broken Matt Hardy's aid against the system at Against All Odds. And if this is the last hurrah, I would like to see it go well. And I think getting into the moment here at Bound for Glory, to JJ's point with that milestone, makes a lot of sense to me. It almost feels like destiny. I know we'll talk more about that later. And to Walter's point, we know somebody else definitely believes in the Hardys as well after their Remax intro, even though they lost the system that night, and that kind of led to the system reboot back at Emergence. So either way, yeah, I think the Hardys are due for this win, and I would like to see it. Going with the Hardys. And everyone else apparently went with the Hardys as well. So that was simple. All right. Well, let's go ahead now and talk about these two matches because I talked about before changing and shaping the landscape doesn't get bigger than the TNA World Championships. And we're going to start with the women. Let's go ahead and talk about the TNA Knockouts World Championship. 2 years in building. The Juggernaut Jordynne Grace defends the gold once again against Russian Dynamite Masha Slamovich, arguably her greatest test reborn. Let's go ahead and talk about these two, shall we? Masha Slamovich, who came into TNA 3 years ago, signed on the dotted line in Nashville. Same place, signed on the dotted line tonight. Came in undefeated, unstoppable, until she faced the Juggernaut Jordynne Grace at Bound for Glory 2022. Gave Jordynne Grace her greatest test to date in her career, Jordynne Grace's own words. And since then, she's been waiting for Masha to come back and answer these open challenges that have been answered by everybody in and out, Sendai Girls, TNA, NXT, you name it, that Jordynne Grace defended the title against, including against Delta, now Zarya, in NXT at her Australian promotion. In case y'all don't know, you can find that on YouTube. Masha Slamovich, of course, has been through these different roads, finding herself, testing herself. Had a tag ally along the way for a little bit with Killer Kelly. And, of course, still fine-tunes herself in Bloodsport. We've seen the tremendous growth. We've seen the progress. We've seen the wrestling out of both these incredible athletes. Of course, respect and friendship was born out of their match at Bound for Glory 2022. But Jordynne Grace said that while you've grown, I appreciate what you've done. I appreciate you. But the results going to remain the same. Gee, where have I heard that before? That being said, Jordynne Grace, who literally crossed the line with the Royal Rumble and NXT at Battleground, Masha Slamovich, though, she has yet to hold the TNA Knockouts World Championship. It's a classic revisited 2 years later, and for Masha, it might be her last chance to smash the one that smashed her to begin with. Chris, we're starting with you and going around the horn because I think we're going to have a lot to say regarding this and the main event, too. May the better wrestler win, though. Who do you got leaving the TNA Knockouts World Champion? Jordynne Grace, or does Masha Slamovich finally achieve her destiny?
Well, I've been kind of going back and forth on this whole entire match with all like the news that we've been hearing. I'm going to put that right here. News that Jordynne Grace rumors that Jordynne Grace's contract with TNA is going to be expiring January of 2025 before she heads to WWE. And I know what you guys said, Masha Slamovich hasn't captured the TNA Knockouts Women's Championship. I have a gut feeling we are going to see a new TNA Knockouts Women's Champion this Saturday. I'm going to go with Masha Slamovich to become the new champion on Saturday.
Botch. But okay then. All right. So he has Masha Slamovich finally smashing Jordynne Grace. Very interesting. Let's go around the horn and give everybody spots. And because I didn't do it for the X division, I'm going to go X style here, which means, JJ, you're on point next. So, JJ, again, we've looked at Jordynne Grace. You've kind of learned about Masha Slamovich through the Bloodsport Watch Lawns. Of course, we talked about her. I told you at one point, she pretty much had the same booking regimen as Speedball My Billy. I think still to this day, these two are trying to outbook each other for who wrestles more in a year. But Masha, we've seen a different side of her, too. ever since the fallout with the system. Speaking English, talking about how she feels humble, respectful, and even talking about how she's been a fan of the Hardys, who hasn't been since she was 10 years old. And for those that don't know, yeah, she's always spoken English. But now you're seeing that side of her in TNA, kind of like when Camille showed what she was capable of when she showed her personality in WA. Just saying. Well, JJ, where do you stand with the future of the most premier title in all women's wrestling, the TNA Knockouts World Championship? And I still stand by that.
And good on you for standing by that, because I'll co-sign with you 100% on that.
Respect.
Well, to take a page out of the Jan Brady playbook, Masha. I like Jordan. I do. I have softened on Jordan immensely this past year.
I've noticed.
And a lot of it has been due to her change in attitude. You know, when she was the Twitter twat that was defending her husband and shit talking because of how horribly he was being booked in the companies, and talking about how certain deceased wrestlers who did horrible acts to their family wouldn't be able to cut it wrestling today's modern wrestlers. I'm like, bitch, you need to shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
But the Jordan Grace I'm seeing now, I get behind. I want to support. You know, I want to see her come to the WWE. I want to see her accomplish new things. I want to see Jordan Grace and Bianca Belair. I want to see Jordan Grace versus Raquel Rodriguez. I want to see her take on some of these strong women within the WWE. And I've heard the rumors as well. Her contract was supposed to end middle of 2025. But the rumor is that it's been amended so it'll end in January.
Interesting.
Which allows her to be done with TNA just in time to debut as an official WWE superstar at the Royal Rumble. I think this is the start of her doing the right thing as she leaves TNA. She loses the belt to Masha here. Turning point will be the gratuitous rematch. Masha will get the W there. And Jordan wanting one more shot at Final Resolution. If I lose this rematch, I will leave TNA. And that's how you write her off.
Okay. It's almost like you literally wrote the end game for the Juggernaut, similar to how the Virtuosa kind of went out when Trinity did the Unthinkable and beat her via submission at Slammiversary. And it's one of those things where I look at Jordan Grace and what she's done. She's been the face of TNA since Hard to Kill. Speaking of Trinity, beating Trinity for that title after winning the Collier Shot Gauntlet last year. She's been the history maker, the trailblazer, the crossover of TNA. So I definitely get what you're coming from. And I think Masha is overdue to show what she can do on her own in that spotlight. She's more than deserving of it and definitely put in the work. And you're only as strong as the competition you're against. And that also shows how strong you are with what you hold as a championship. The championship does not make the champion. The champion makes the championship. And I think it's time for Masha to take the Knockouts division in a whole different direction. I agree with the consensus here. I think it's got to be Masha Slamovich. If she doesn't do it, it's one of those things where it's like, you're showing this other side of personality. Was it all for naught? And again, she's shown this subtly when she left on that one match where Jordan Grace kind of took the credit when it was Wendy Choo, Tasha Steelz, and Rosemary in Knockouts Trios action. And I think that Masha's overdue. So I'm going with Masha Slamovich too. Masha for the win. Does anyone have a disagreement before we move on to our main event? Because I think we kind of slowly talked about both sides here and what it means right now for them.
No, it's that time. It's been what 9 months since she's had that title, so
Correct.
it's that time to give it up, and I think she does the right thing, like JJ was saying.
Emmanuel, anything to add?
Yeah, it's just like for me, like since I know there's this history like way before started to see this because like I agree like Masha like really pressing me because she was basically carrying Audrey in that tagging for the women's, but it feels like for me it's like kind of like I don't know where I'll play some like why is she just basically like challenging Jordan out of nowhere like Jordan's challenging Smasher for me like as a newcomer I'm like this came out of nowhere like where is this going like I thought the first thing on her list was trying to get revenge on the system and what's going on there but I'm like that went the feel like okay like where this
Well,
is
again, Alicia's not medically clear to compete in ring. She could probably, be part of the focus, but she can't necessarily get physically involved herself. That's why she got a candlestick. Allegedly. But I get it. Either way, Masha for the new TNA Knockouts World Champion. All right. Well, we've had a lot of fun, a lot of talk, some fantasy booking discussion, some rumor retorting, and again, level your brain, brother. But let's go ahead and get right into why we're here. Let's go ahead and see who achieves destiny. Let's go ahead and see who truly is deserving of the glory. Let's go ahead and see who gets victory. Let's go ahead and talk about our main event for the TNA World Championship. It's the wanted man, Nick Nemeth, defending the gold against, that is, 250 pounds of pure motivation, the answer to all life's questions, 12 years deserving, not just an overnight sensation. And you guys know by now that his name is Joe Hendry.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Damn it, Walter! You threw me off. Okay, let's go ahead. That was so damn good. And by the way, that was brilliant. And also, yeah.
No, I just
go
want
ahead,
to say
JJ.
one thing. I think
Okay,
because
go
of what JJ said off air, I don't want anybody to steal his idea. I think he should go first because he said
literally
something
took
and
the
he
words out of
cooked
my mouth.
and he cooked that when he told us off screen. So I just don't want anybody else to say what he said and steal the thunder.
I was literally going to go you, and me. Because, again, I'm seeing it live, so I'm going to save all my thoughts until the very end after what you all might feed to me. So, JJ, I'm usually the guy that breaks down the story, breaks down the beginning, breaks down what gets us here, maybe subtly tease some ideas where it's going. I ain't saying another word. Chef, feed me, serve me. JJ, talk about the main event. Who's leaving the TNA World Championship?
Well, as far as the match that is booked between Nick Nemeth and Joe Hendry, we will see Joe Hendry capture the TNA championship.
Yes! He believes!
However, Joe Hendry will not leave Detroit with the TNA World Championship.
Oh, no.
As the man that we all predicted for the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, being right there in the center of the ring, in the middle of the action, as soon as the match is over, is going to drop him, turn in his opportunity, and the king of TNA is going to reign as your new TNA World Champion. Back when he was a younger lad, and his moniker was Frankie the Future Kazarian, he had a catchphrase that I kind of could see him bringing back here. The future is now, and the future looks good.
I remember that phrase.
Frankie Kazarian is going to leave Detroit as the TNA World Champion.
Simple as that, huh?
Yep.
I
And
re-
and after I said that last night, and the fact that I'm getting head nods, and the fact that Walter wanted me to say what I said before anyone could steal my thought, almost tells me that Emmanuel and Walter agree with my theory.
Yeah, because let's face it, Frankie's an asshole, and what a bigger way to be a real big heel prick asshole than to let Joe Hendry win that title and then immediately steal that thunder.
Especially if the rumors are true and Joe Hendry's contract is up at the beginning of 2025 as well. WWE has made it very well known that they are interested in Joe Hendry. So TNA gives him the championship. They solidify Frankie as an even bigger heel by having him take the title away. Joe Hendry can get a rematch at Turning Point, lose. And Frankie still has rematches against Nick Nemeth lined up because he never beat him for the title. And that takes you in a Final Resolution, Hard to Kill, going forward into the new year. While Joe Hendry goes to the Land of Opportunity and makes his debut, say about number 15 or 16 in the Royal Rumble.
If I hear that pop and see this face on that screen during the Royal Rumble and hear this,
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
I'm gonna lose my freaking shit and lose that damn bet.
And he has to come in mid-Rumble because you want there to be guys in the ring. I've heard people theorize that if he does that, it's got to be number 1 or number 2 so that he can get that pop and really get the opportunity for his music to play. No. You want there to be a bunch of people in the ring so that when that music hits, the match stops.
All right. Yep. I'm not gonna lie. That actually does excite me.
Not only does the match stop, but if you get a bunch of WWE guys stop fighting each other and be like, nope, that's an outsider. We got to go get him. Like, you remember what Eddie, and Benoit and others did to Daniel Bruder when he came out in the Royal Rumble. They just literally stopped and chopped the shit out of him. They just all had their way with him because they were like, screw that. He's a rookie. He's an outsider. We're going to beat his ass. You can do that.
They did it with Joe Hendry and changed his NXT. And everyone was in the ring that night. That was when the Joe Hendry broke the internet. Either way, well, thank you. That was a 5-star meal. Also, I hate you for that because now if I see this live, I'm going to be more pissed off. But that being said,
but your whole thing all week has been Frankie Kazarian is the guest ref. He has no morals. He's not going to be a fair and impartial referee. He's going to be a crooked referee. He has no reason to if he wins the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Because regardless of who wins, he's going to cash it in and leave Bound for Glory as the champion. So it gives him every reason to be a fair referee because as soon as 1, 2, 3, bam!
I'm still going to be pissed off either way.
You got
especially if it doesn't.
You can
Go
be
ahead.
pissed, but it gives him a reason to be fair.
You gotta go with JJ because what other reason would he be the referee on top of it? There's got to be a reason they made him the special guest referee. That it just makes sense. Like otherwise, why the hell is he even involved?
Before I give my thoughts, let's go ahead and go to Chris real quick for his closing remarks because I know that he's ready to GTS because you got stuff to do, bruh, and I know you're not used to this. So thank you for being on. Go ahead and give your pick real quick and your closing remarks.
Well, I'm looking forward to this match. I'm just gonna go off of it and saying this: Joe Hendry is going to become the new champion, and I am gonna say this: that Joe Hendry's not gonna leave Bound for Glory as champion. I have also Frankie Kazarian cashing it in, and personally, he could literally cash in his Call Your Shot Gauntlet opportunity during the match and make it a triple threat. And then Frankie Kazarian could win, and he don't even have to pin Joe Hendry. He could pin Nick Nemeth for the championship. So I got Joe Hendry winning, but Frankie Kazarian walks out as champion on Saturday, and I have to get to bed, guys. Thank you for allowing me to be on tonight.
Appreciate you, man. Get some rest. Stay tuned for both forums, and as always, enjoy life, enjoy wrestling. God bless you. Take care of your family.
Bye, guy.
Don't you bring that latest nonsense in here. How dare you? And then there was fall. You had
Bye.
dumb gimmick, dumb boy band that's been irrelevant since 2002. Anyway, probably sooner. Damn it, MTV.
I understand what Chris was saying, but it's more Frankie's a dick. It's more of a dick move to let Henry win first and then not make it a triple threat. Let Henry win first and then cash.
Plus, if he makes it a triple threat, it negates him being the referee. He has to be the referee for the Hendry Nick Nemeth match.
Yeah, why would you throw away that role that he cheated himself into? So that being said, Emmanuel, do you have anything further to add here?
Like basically, like JJ and Walter said the best. I mean, like this is just a opportunity for Frankie Kazarian, to what drove Henry and Nick, hug her out, like, congratulations, like, you beat me, you won the title, and just like that, it's not the way, like, just like that, just like Daniel Bryan, just like Roman Reigns, and like the stupid confetti in his shock face, if we remember back.
I tell you what, this is how we know if it's gonna happen. Frankie's got to take some kind of ref bump so that there's another referee already out there. Then Frankie rejoins the match, but that referee leaves, but he stays on the outside just in case something happens again. Then after Joe Hendry wins, you got to do something to get that referee back involved. When he cashes in, the referee's there already, right there, and then you can start the match with Frankie versus Henry. So look for some kind of ref bump with happening in there.
So I understand where you all are coming from, because here's my thing. I want and truly believe that Joe Hendry should freaking went, for the love of Pete. You're going to do the phrase, are you? Or are you just showing that?
Nope. Watch this. This is what I want to see him do after the match. Hit his old Wave of the Future.
Hook of the leg.
And just drop him.
Oh, boy.
I think that's the best way to do it, because you can get him, he can raise their arm, and then just hit it out of nowhere.
So
drop him 1, 2, 3.
There's just one other thing I've been thinking about this whole time, and I'm surprised no one else thought about. We're focusing on the three men in the graphic, particularly Kazarian as Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner, Joe Hendry as new champion. What if Joe Hendry doesn't win the title and is screwed within the match, not by Kazarian, not by Josh, but by the guy that no one's thinking about except maybe him? What if John Layfield gets involved in this? John Layfield, who's been there for Nick Nemeth the last two pay-per-views, at his aid, it seemed, in helping him keep the championship against the likes of Moose, might I add, his last match at Victory Road. And also to add more fuel to the fire with the Kazarian controversy, Kazarian was not only dropped by Santana, not with a Cobra, but he was literally hoisted up by all four, Masha, Grace, Nemeth, and Hendry, through the contract signing table, much deserved. But it's also one of those things where Nick Nemeth, again, came in at Rebellion with his first title shot, won the title at Slammiversary, pinning Kazarian when it was down to those two. Why this is Joe Hendry's first ever one-on-one chance at the TNA World Championship. Nemeth's been there before and done that. It's just one of those things where I do think the bigger win for Joe Hendry would be against Kazarian, considering Kazarian beat him by dirty tactics and against all odds. But Kazarian's been having fallout with Nemeth more so than Joe Hendry. It feels like to me more of a cause and effect. I think Nemeth's the one that loses here because of Kazarian, and Hendry finally gets his moment to become the face of TNA against Kazarian. Part of me almost thinks that Joe Hendry's going to be protected and preserved, because I think he's going to stay around for I believe Joe Hendry's going to stay around in TNA, or at least I want him to. So you talk about mind versus heart earlier. This is the match that got me as mind versus heart. I get the idea of Kazarian finally being champion. What do you freaking do? TNA OG, long overdue, blah, blah, blah. Hate me if you want to. But I think Joe Hendry more so deserves it more than anything. But Nemeth proved his worth to TNA since coming into the damn company.
True.
I'm pretty much fucked either way. But at this point, I believe that Kazarian will leave Bound for Glory, pissing me off as TNA World Champion, but I think it's against Nick Nemeth, not Joe Hendry.
And I believe that we will hear Jeff screaming happiness all the way from wherever the hell we're at after Frankie wins that title.
Me too.
Not me.
Except Noah will probably be able to hear me easier because I'll be in Missouri and he'll be in Detroit. Like, it won't be as far away.
Yeah, you would think. But also, again, will John Layfield reveal what he's been about, literally campaigning across the business, it seems. Freaking Lone Star Texas Ranger with the giant jacket, bigger than Joe Doring, just exploring the business. What the hell he's been doing? What's the connection with him and Nick Nemeth?
Forgot about it. That's a good point. I totally forgot about him.
See? Joe Hendry did. He literally asked Nick Nemeth, how is John Layfield going to get involved in our match? But Nick Nemeth says, look, you don't need to worry about him. You don't need to worry about nobody else. You just need to worry about me because you're facing the damn death. Yes, Emmanuel, I see your hand.
Yes, I'll ask for TNA is for this one simple request. Please make JBL's entrance into the Texas Walker JBL entrance with a cowboy star in his chest. And he's like, ready to shut down the law and wrestling.
He is not Chuck Norris. The farthest thing from it I'm aware of is somebody that grew up watching that show, and Chuck Norris can do anything like Joe Hendry. But I believe Joe Hendry should be TNA World Champion, but not for freaking 15 seconds just to lose it to freaking Kazarian. So I'm going to say, as far as the match goes, that Nick Nemeth somehow retains.
But Frankie won't get the heat from beating Nick Nemeth.
That was my point earlier. He's a dick. It only makes sense to do it. Yeah.
It's like Frankie is a heel. But because he's an OG, if he beats Nick Nemeth, he might actually get a mild pop. Because here's this guy that came in from WWE less than a year ago and was the champion in TNA. And this guy that, granted, he was in and out of the company a few times, but it's kind of been a ride or die for TNA since 2002, 2003, has never been their champion.
But neither has.
It's like, okay, but Joe Hendry hasn't put in the time. Joe Hendry is the most over person in professional wrestling right now. The way you solidify your heel heat is that everybody thinks that Joe Hendry has finally done it, and then you drop him with something that you can hit quick and easy, like that Wave of the Future that I brought up. 1, 2, 3. You just took away everybody's moment of celebrating Joe Hendry. That is how you make an instant heel heat.
All right. I'm
Pun
just gonna
intended.
say,
That's how you make an
Think about it.
impact.
Okay, look, you watch A&E. You're a rider to AEW, day zero. How pissed were you last night when fucking the Learning Tree Chris Jericho dropped Mark Briscoe? Now,
I was
Mark Briscoe will probably get it back at Final Battle because
right.
that's how you put somebody over. That's how you make them. And that's Jericho's job now, is to make people. But how pissed were you when he defeated him last night? And that's how pissed you'll be when Frankie drops Joe Hendry.
I'm just gonna say this in closing. Bound for Glory ends one of two ways. Kazarian leaves TNA World Champion and takes the moment away from the winner, or we got a new TNA World Champion not named Frank Kazarian, and before he could do something, John Layfield lays his ass out. That's how you end Bound for Glory. One of those two ways. I guarantee you is how we're ending Bound for Glory.
The other thing that we're not considering is that the Call Your Shot Gauntlet winner gets a shot at whatever title they want.
Correct.
Who's to say that the winner of the Call Your Shot Gauntlet isn't going to take it to NXT to go after Trick Williams? Now that there's the NXT and a partnership, can the contract transcend? We don't know. That would be an interesting way to spin it.
Be like Wesley crossing the line just to freaking win it, to freaking get the title off Trick Williams at Halloween Havoc. Now you really got my mind spinning.
We were talking last night about who's Trick's next opponent going to be, and I mentioned the possibility of Frankie Kazarian.
You did.
I mentioned it more in a champion versus champion capacity, but who's to say that he can't take the Call Your Shot Gauntlet and turn that in for a shot at Trick Williams? I don't think it's going to happen, but what if?
Well, never say never, more than ever with 2024, especially NXT. But it was Josh Alexander that became the shortest reigning TNA World Champion when Moose won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet that night, cashed it immediately, speared him with his fan in the ring, 1, 2, 3. Why wouldn't Kazarian try and do the same fucking thing against Joe Hendry? But again, what does that do for Nick Nemeth as well, who's been on this renaissance since day zero on this reset? And I just feel like
it bumps Nick Nemeth down the ladder, because now Joe Hendry is the former champion and gets the instant rematch. Nick Nemeth drops down below Joe Hendry in contention.
I almost wonder what TNA is leading on more for Joe Hendry, because you're talking about Joe Hendry going to WWE while Nick Nemeth's been in WWE and has no desire, I think, of going back, it seems.
No, he doesn't right now.
Yeah, and I don't blame him.
It's the type of thing. It's the type of thing that in a couple of years, if the partnership is still going, then maybe. But currently, he just left there. He still needs to get the detox out of him.
It's fair. Good God! Now, I'm really gonna freaking have an anxiety attack before Bound for Glory thinking about this. And let me just also point out for the record, while we probably just screwed up some people's brains too and made them go in overload mode, your predictions are not final until, mark the time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Saturday night. And the form will literally be out, well, East Coasters, you know what's up, some point here on Friday. What do you guys say, Emmanuel, as we keep this thing going? Because I just figure, I think right now, we believe what the end of Bound for Glory are going to be, but we don't necessarily know 100% if it's actually going to be how we think it's going to be. But I still believe at the end of the day, the new TNA World Champion should be, for longer than a moment, Joe Hendry. But anyway, go ahead and say something real quick.
Yeah. I was about to say, Noah, you know what would really piss you off? Like, if they go even more out of left field? If Dolph Ziggler is to turn heel against Joe Hendry.
Nah.
And that's when Frankie Kazarian sees his opportunity and 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 does the unthinkable, cashes in and like just
Who?
like
What
Frankie.
name? No. Before that, you said somebody goes heel. I don't know.
Oh,
What name?
no, like Nick McMahon, not Ziggler.
Company botch.
Yeah, company bug. But you always be Dolph Ziggler for me. Like, but it's like it's gonna be hard. Like it's gonna take time for me to say his real name, Nick. But Nick is gonna be like everybody like who Joe Hendry has trusted. He trusted Josh Alexander, and he turned heel. There's a small possibility that Nick might turn heel against Joe.
Well, it is a face versus face match, to be fair, which again is another reason why I see them having the heel referee in the middle of the graphic, it seems. But God, I don't want Kazarian to win the fucking title if it means Joe Hendry is freaking the one that's the victim. What the hell? And it's literally gonna be a story of the night, considering again the Gauntlet is on the countdown. So I have to figure out this all night if Kazarian wins this shit. Well, as long as it's not flopped out, that will make me turn away from TNA permanently. So I mean, yeah, okay.
Where's my kid video for the fact that the Gauntlet is on the pre-show? Bullshit. Bullshit. Bullshit.
I think it's the first time the Gauntlet's on the countdown as well. I think it's always been on the main card. It was on the main card last year. So I mean, yeah. But either way, we believe Joe Hendry should be TNA World Champion. But the consensus is by the end of the night, you will hear and see leaving with the gold. Although Sean Layfield lays him out with a clothesline from hell, Michigan. Frank Kazarian. But again, Joe Hendry, TNA World Champion. If he doesn't go to WWE. But again, we got to get through Saturday night to figure out any signs of the future. And we still have 2 shows left in TNA's calendar year. Just saying. Well, that was one hell of a longer-term conversation where we really don't know who's bound for glory besides 3 people. It's just a matter of who literally leads with the glory. I guess we'll find out soon enough. Again, Walter, James have an incredible call. Folks, let your opinions be known. Who do you believe is bound for glory, leads with victory, achieves destiny, leaves champion, world champion, knockouts world champion? Does the system go down? Do we get new TNA tag team champion? Do you expect somebody else to show up and cross the line from NXT for the first time or some other company? Do we get some incredible tease of what happens next in TNA by the end of Bound for Glory? Post-credit scene, just saying. And does John Layfield show up and drop somebody with a clothesline from Hell, Michigan? You tell me. But again, you got to find out yourselves by tuning in to the Simple Studios for the Watch Along Call if you don't have the funds, as to keep you tuned in. And I'll see you guys Sunday night, Halloween Havoc, after my live experience. But thank you for tonight for tuning in. So with that being said, let's go around, do some shows, and then get some rest too, because Friday allows us to rest. And I cannot freaking wait to get to Detroit, Michigan, and watch this fucking show live too. And good luck to everybody in the TNA League. Emmanuel, always a pleasure. Anything you want to plug and promote, where can people connect with you?
Yes, I want to plug the Simply Reliable Network. If you haven't hit follow, how are you not subscribed to it yet? Please give everybody a like and watch, because they work hard. And I'm not saying that because they invite me here.
Yeah, completely unbiased. Appreciate you, brother. And appreciate Arlene as well. Always a pleasure with the Dominguez. And thank you to Tilla for tuning in. I hope that you start feeling better. Please follow her, folks, though it's wrestling time when she covers TNA, and we'll have her own review with Body Slam on TNA Bound for Glory later, too. I might join her because I was going there. I don't know. We'll see. And again, for everybody that's tuned in the chat, appreciate all of you. That being said, Walter, again, production man, you've done a hell of a job with the studios. Keep doing it. Anything you want to plug more, where can people find you? I know what to do. Damn it.
Mamacita.
Freaking hell.
So on X, you can follow me at Walter Alex Cruz and Instagram Walter.Cruz.940. Of course, the Rage of Wrestling YouTube channel. Now, let me take a page out of Noah's book and put my foot in my mouth. I now got up. I got 2 new subscribers that got me up to 60. We got November and December left in this year. Get me to 100 people. Get me to 100 subscribers, and I will do on a Saturday Night Shenanigans whatever embarrassing thing the other 4 or 3 people, whatever it is, panels decide that I have to do. If you guys can just get me to that 100 subscribers by the end of this year, we got 2 months. Whatever embarrassing thing you guys want me to do, within reason, I'll do.
Yeah, good caveat.
Well, I mean, we don't want to get booted off of YouTube. so,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Oy vey. Woo. Way to save
And I
your
already
ass.
see the clocks working in freaking JJ's head.
I'm scared. Anyway, thank you, Walter. Also, you're a fucking madman. JJ, always appreciate your mind. Always love what you bring forward too. It's always a pleasure sitting predicting, fantasy booking, and cooking with you. Even though I don't know how to cook anything beyond a microwave, being honest here, it is what it is. I'm simple. But go ahead and tell them where people can connect and further fantasy book or challenge your mind to, and where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, the Renegade JJ Williams, on Twitter or the X at ROWJJ Williams, YouTube, Casa D18 Studios.
That's gonna give it to you.
You know, I traditionally do my For the Love of Wrestlings every Monday through Friday, following the major shows when work doesn't conflict with it. Other than that, just follow everybody else here on the Simply Reliable brand. And make sure you guys tune in for all of our watch-alongs. As a matter of fact, I believe Walter put the updated trailer in there. So why don't we show everybody what we got coming up here in the next weeks and months through the end of this year and beyond.
Take a look, folks. This is crazy.
And now for a taste of things to come.
All right, budget. I'll bring up the freaking thing. I mean, because I'm in a positive mood. Again, folks, the Simply Reliable Studios, why JJ likes to criticize as such. I don't usually say that because, again, I don't follow their sheets, so I have no criticism towards any of them. But I truly do encompass all the wrestling, 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 all the professional wrestling. Damn it! And we also encompass professional sports and combat sports too. We're crazy. Well, keep plugging. Well, thank you for that, JJ Williams. Again, folks, follow everybody here at the Simply Reliable Studios. I don't know what the anyone else is calling it. Again, you can find descriptions in the bell and this down below. You'll find the PayPal's all description down below. Support my friends, support our passions. We keep it going again because of all of you. Follow the baller, Big G, at NoDQ_ Big Baller G. He's always happy to be here, and we always appreciate him being here. Take care always. You can follow this fool at J Hebert Side 95, the J Hebert side of things. That's James Hebert of J Hebert Studios. He does really cool and dumb things. Oh, need for nits. And please look at his documentary. Of course, he put in a lot of hard work in that. 1 in a million, the man, the myth, the legend, Gary Hebert. So please give that a watch if you can. Scan the QR code for your convenience. And if you wish to follow and engage with me, then find me primarily if you choose on Twitter and on YouTube at Foster1916. For all fans wrestling, that's the one I forgot to upload. Shout out to BW fam on the Twitter and social medias. As always, we'll do our impromptus here very soon, close to the AW pay-per-views. We're AW eccentric in the family because we created during the pandemic, during that time, brought us back to life, not Evanescence, non-copyright. But again, I'm always here, happy to engage, happy to moderate instead of predicting, but participate in shenanigans, even at the expense of my dignity, especially when it comes to karaoke. Thank God there's none for November. Anyway, and there's also no shenanigans. Shut it. You don't try. Don't you try. Don't you try and book stuff in Latin. Don't you try.
It's not last minute.
Yes, it is.
But my daughter's mom actually had a great idea for the theme for November's karaoke.
Oh no, I don't know if I want
familial. Figure it's going to be Thanksgiving. It's all about the warm, the fuzzies. You're with your family. Donnie and Marie Osmond, the Osmonds, Nelson, the Beach Boys, the Allman Brothers. Like, there's so many bands that encompass some sort of family dynamic. Oasis with the Gallaghers, Liam and Noel.
Look,
all kinds of that stuff. Hanson, you could be doing Mbop.
No, and
which was the Young Bucks indie wrestling theme, so it ties to wrestling too.
Yeah, but
Emmanuel, have Arlene super chat for him to do Mbop.
No. You got Black Friday, you got Thanksgiving, you got your football if you watch that shit. Coming up, all right? It's November. It's the holiday season. Go put some of it on your freaking layaway in Kmart, wherever that exists in the desert or something like that, all right? Go buy some crap off Amazon on Cyber Monday. Waste your money on something more worthwhile than your family. Go pre-wrap your gift and put it in the stocking, all right? Anyway, what? What you got your finger up for?
Yeah, I was just about to say, though, like, maybe you'll be lucky because a surprising announcement today. Artie and me are officially going to WrestleMania 41.
Oh, Jesus.
Wow. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So we're going to do payment. So, like a payment plan and get there, like, pay it out eventually. But that's the plan, like, because it's, like, we're splitting that up, and maybe we're not going to be rich that much because we're going to have to be paying those payments. But
the cost of entertainment, good God Almighty, y'all are crazy.
Exactly, but there's a tiny possibility that we're not going to super chat more. But maybe there will be. But let God decide that.
That's the smartest thing you've said all night. All right. Well, that being said, JJ, damn you, Emmanuel, appreciate you. Everyone else, God bless you. Again, folks, we'll be back with City Predicting. You saw Wolves in the Watch Along trailer and everything that you pretty much saw. Again, play by ear. Next time we do City Predictings, of course, we'll be heading into November. There is AEW Full Gear, WWE Crown Jewel. There is NXT, yet to be determined. There's Ring of Honor, yet to be determined. And, of course, there is TNA Turning Point and WWE Survivor Series War Games, which will conclude the WWE PLE Predictions League 2024. That's to come up for City Predicting. And, again, you could see what else is coming up here in the near future, too. Yeah, well, when shows literally is about 13 minutes and you fantasy book the main event beyond for 30 minutes, that's pretty much what happens. 2 hours later. Why'd you do that for? Yes, JJ, I saw your hand.
Isn't Saturday night's main event a PLE as well?
I don't know, actually, if I've ever considered that a PLE in this day and age.
I know back in the day it wasn't. It was like a Saturday night special. It was a quarterly special, but the way they keep hyping in the promotions make it sound like it's going to be the end of the year PLE, Saturday night's main event.
Let's wait till Bossman Riff makes it official because he's the one that maintains what actually is and is not a PLE for WWE. Why I do everything else, including NXT and TNA, just saying. But I'll kick that in consideration, especially if we end in a tie. But again, we'll see what happens. And JM, shout out to good old JM, Jeff motherfucking Meacham, or 2 hour mark, I could say that. And to his point, yeah, I remember that being on NBC as well. So there you go. as I was saying, when you fantasy book for 35 minutes and chill for 13 minutes, it is what it is. Speaking of chills, how's this for you, brother? Again, please follow good old JM, just motherfucking Meacham. He does the Meach's Musings. You can find that on Thursday, October 24th. That was the last episode, so go check out the replay of that. And go check out this little passion project here, Last Nightmare Part 1, a Halloween fan film with Brandon Simmons, of course, with work on Halloween, H2O, and more. So that was for you, brother. So again, hope all is well. But please follow good old JM, Jeff motherfucking Meacham. And that's all I gotta say too right now before anything else comes across the screen as well. And again, yet to be determined. But as always, I'd like to conclude, there are no winners, no losers, no betters, just fans of opinions with this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another, respect each other, protect your mentality too, treasure your families, and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling. It's truly as simple as that. Until next time, thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell if this video goes live on demand on any of the channels here at the Simply Liable Studios. Hit the subscribe button. Support my pals. PayPal them. I assure you our passion's not going to let me anytime soon. You all make it possible. You all make it happen, including the Minguses. We truly thank and appreciate all of you. Forever grateful for it, too. Stay tuned for everything that's ahead this weekend because James Hebert and Walter, he might die. And then I'll be back here Sunday night bringing you all the tricks and treats and the grudges galore with Halloween Havoc that are in store. At least we got our ambulance match made official. Now we just got to figure out what the hell Kalani Jordan's doing. Stay tuned for both forums later today as well. They'll be in the videos respectfully in their comments. They'll be on my community tab and on my social medias too. Until then, it's a fine I do. So in British Game Show fashion, for Manuel, say goodbye.
Bye.
For the Manager Wrestling, JJ Williams, say goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
For the Rage of Wrestling, What's the Cruise, say goodbye.
Adios. Bye, guys.
For Avatar Man, Jeff Meacham, say goodbye.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.
And for me, it's also a goodbye, too. So until next time, believe in Joe Hendry and make a positive impact in life and have a good night. Thank you for tuning in to the Predicting Bound for Glory. I hope you enjoy the discussion. I hope you enjoy the pay-per-view and take a chance on TNA Wrestling. Have a good night.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
And he'll lose to Frankie Kazarian tomorrow.
How dare you! Blasphemy! Blasphemy! I say blasphemy! I'm gonna be so fucking pissed off if that happens. I swear, Kazarian, you screw up Joe Hendry's moment. There'll be a freaking rat on this world from me. Mark my words, you future freaking ruiner.
We love Frankie in SoCal and everywhere else. He's gonna beat Joe Hendry's dumbass tomorrow night.
All right, I'm inside. Damn it!